How many of you have worked at Bosman through the years? That's wonderful. How many of you know Mrs. Bosman because you were a former student, either when she was a teacher or a counselor? A whole bunch of hands went up on that one. How many of you were classmates with her in school? All right. A lot of Taylor ducks. How many of you are a colleague? You have worked with Naomi through the years. All right, a bunch of hands on that one. Now, here I'm interested to see how many hands go up. How many of you were on the staff when Naomi was a student? We have with us tonight Janelle Roloff. And Janelle, can you tell what your job was in the school back when Naomi was a student?
Secretary to the principal.
Secretary to the principal. So what was Naomi like as a teenager?
Just a lot of fun.
I'll tell the truth.
A little bit of information I want to share with you before we officially get started. The video we're going to see tonight, the Naomi Pasemann Story, is a shortened version of the Naomi Pasemann Story. The video in its entirety can be viewed on YouTube beginning next week. I believe the 28th is when we're hoping to get it on YouTube. So if you watch the entire video on YouTube, you'll hear Naomi talking even more about her life and career. There will be more footage of the day we buried the time capsule. There will be some footage of a pep rally the very first year the school opened. And so you'll get to see a lot more than what you're going to see tonight. So look for that whole video on YouTube beginning next week. Now, do y'all know what Saturday is? It's a special day for Naomi. Moppy, it is her birthday. And so before we leave at the very end, we want to sing happy birthday to her before we go to the cafeteria for a reception and refreshments. So we'll plan to do that. One other thing I want to let you know about, when Naomi walks in, she's going to be using a walker, and that's because she had a little procedure done on her leg recently, and everything is fine. It's just temporary. She's recovering. She's doing wonderful, but she will be on a walker tonight. So when you see that, don't be too alarmed, and we want to cheer for her and just make as much noise as we can. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Pasemann's family is here tonight to join us for this big event. Please welcome Miss Pasemann's family as they come into the gym now. Miss Pasemann's family. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the star of the show tonight, Miss Naomi Pasemann. good to see everybody out. You know, I've got to tell you, it is quite an honor to stand before you tonight and welcome you to this celebration of Mrs. Naomi Pasemann. You know, thinking back, it was a wonderful occasion to stand on the stage in the Bosman cafeteria in 1998 and welcome the community to the ribbon cutting for this new school named after Mrs. Pasemann. And it is an honor to stand before you tonight and celebrate as this elementary school completes its 21st year. And we pay tribute to all of the students, all of the staff who have been a part of that history, and to celebrate the school's namesake. I have to tell you, I had so much fun interviewing Mrs. Pasemann for this film project, and you're going to see some of that interview here in just a little bit. But even more important, we are preserving the story of Naomi Pasemann for future generations so that they will all know our Mama Duck. I'm not going to say a lot more right now because I get to have a whole conversation with Mrs. Bosman on the video. But I do want to leave you with a few words that have been attributed to a couple of people in history. And putting the two versions together, it goes something like this. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants, because they raise us up, and by their great stature, add to ours. I think we all agree Naomi has been one of those giants in our lives, and she has helped so many to see further. I've known Mrs. Bosman since I was 11 years old, and she has always been an encourager, the one who builds others up, the one who tells you what you need to hear, and the one to celebrate others' successes. Well, tonight, we celebrate you, Naomi, and we say thank you. And thank you, yes, let's applaud. And thank you to all of you for being here for this special celebration tonight. That's tremendous. When Naomi was in high school, she was a cheerleader. And tonight we have the Taylor High School cheerleaders with us, and they're going to help kick off this pep rally celebration. So please make them feel welcome, the Taylor High School cheerleaders.
Here's a chant from Miss Naomi Pasemann's time as a cheerleader. Little red chicken, sitting on a fence. He's for the ducks, he's got sense. He's for the ducks, he's got sense. Little red chicken, sitting on a fence. He's for the ducks, he's got sense. Two bits, you ready? Well, let's go! 2 bits, 4 bits, hey, 6 bits, $1. All for the big ducks, stand up and holler.
All right, thank you, Taylor High School cheerleaders. Let's hear it for them. All right, next, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Pat Hilbert. Pat is from the class of 1969, a proud Taylor Duck, and coordinator of the Taylor High School Ex-Students Association. She is, you see her in the duck room all the time. She's just such a Taylor Duck. Pat, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Well, What can I say about Naomi Pasemann? One thing for sure, Taylor is blessed to have this one gem of a lady. She's so respected and loved by so many of us. She's an asset to the school system, our community, and for sure Duckville. Graduating in 1954 at the Taylor High School on 7th Street, you can flip through the Mallards, which was our yearbook in case those that didn't know that, and see, not only was this woman popular, she was very smart and very good looking. She was the cream of the crop. Now, how can you be all three? I don't know. I did not have Miss Bosman as an English teacher, but I did have her as a cheerleading sponsor. As a sophomore, I remember going into her room, and I saw all those girls, and she walked up to that chalkboard, and she looked us bold-faced, stern, hard look, and she said, pulled out those hands, and she said, I'm going to tell y'all right now, there'll be no drinking, no smoking, no cussing, no driving fast, and you will not get engaged. Your job is to create the spirit for all of our Ducks, not just the football team, for all of the Ducks, but not only will you be cheering for the Ducks, you are representing Taylor High School, inside and outside. So I expect you to make us proud. Can't y'all hear her say that? Yeah. The law was laid, and I promise you we did what Naomi said. She loved her school district. This is one person of Taylor, Texas that ignited our love of the Ducks and instilled tradition for the Taylor High School. Every step of her life proved it. She would stand up to the best of the authorities to defend Duck tradition and Duck pride, and most of all, to make sure it continued. This person is the reason the Duck Room is what it is now. Not only did she gather the history, yearbooks, anything Ducks for many years, she insisted we find a place to display it all. And so it began. We opened our very own museum, the Taylor High School Duck History, at our very own Taylor High School, the school she graduated from. Needless to say, she was super excited to have her whole house and her office back to normal without any Duck items in there. Her intense passion and energy touched the hearts of many of her students and several of us that are proudly serving on the X's Students Association Board, leaving no doubt that her love of our Taylor Duck history will be carried on and on. I still, to this day, love to listen to Naomi speak. Such an outstanding speaker, and she does not need note cards like me. She just gets up there and she tells a story and does a great job at it, I might add. My little sister is a teacher, and many years ago she was teaching in Irving. Naomi was asked to speak to a group of counselors in that area. Now, I don't know what it was on, don't have a clue, but I do know that after hearing Naomi speak, some of my sister's co-workers found out that Miss Bosman was from Taylor and instantly came up to my little sister to ask if she knew of Miss Bosman. And my little sister said, of course, with pride, and she said she was my guidance counselor and she was a big part of Taylor. And that not only did she do that, she helped her with college applications and financial aid forms. Every one of those faculty members said listening to her was a wonderful experience, and they felt like they'd known her for years, and that she was just as down to earth as she could be, and they could listen to her speak for hours, and they learned so much. Friends, that's not an easy thing to accomplish, but our Naomi did it. Several years ago, she asked me to take over the X's Association, and I knew I had big shoes to fill. I can't even tell you how much this woman knows. School history, the X's, every kid that walked up and down the hall, she knew what they were doing, she knew who was alive and who was dead for the Duck data list, and one of my most memorable stories of Naomi, when I took over the X's Association, we had our homecoming program, and the Bosman Elementary School children got to come up and sing a song and lead our Pledge of Allegiance. And when we introduced Miss Bosman, Those kids dropped their teeth. Their eyes got like this big, their mouths wide open. They could not believe they were seeing the person that their school was named after. Well, here comes Naomi. She was so perceptive, boy, she immediately responded to their facial expressions. And these might not be her exact words, but it was close. She said, my name is Naomi Pasemann. I am very blessed that there's a school named after me, and nope, I am not dead. I am alive. I could go on and on, but they told me a short speech. But I will say, thank God for this strong, smart, classy, larger-than-life little lady that we love and admire. Excuse me. She is our mother duck. She is the one that created Once a Duck, Always a Duck, and one of the greatest ducks I've ever known. She is truly one of the best things that ever happened to Taylor and in our school district, and I'm part to be glad of that era.
Thank you, Pat. You know, Bosman Elementary is near and dear to Naomi's heart. She loves to visit this school, and the children in this school love to see her anytime she can come by and be with them. So it's a real special event tonight that we have the Bosman Choir who will sing for you and entertain you tonight. So the Bosman Choir, here they come now. Duck pride is strong. Naomi, doesn't that make you proud? Once a duck, always a duck. Wonderful job, children. Thank you so much. That was great. You don't often hear the words to the fight song. You hear the school song a lot, but these kids have learned the words to the fight song, and that's real special. We're going to hear a few words now from former Bosman principal Jennifer Patchke.
I do have a quick confession to make before. We don't normally hear the words to the Taylor fight song because there aren't words. When I was here, we made those words up based off the Baylor fight song, so don't think that you missed out on something because you didn't. I've had the privilege to know Ms. Pasemann since I was a young girl, as a teacher, and as the principal of Naomi Pasemann Elementary. I am currently the Director of Federal Programs for Taylor ISD, but prior to this position, I had the opportunity to serve at Bosman Elementary, and 12 of those years I was the principal. I was at Bosman so long that once while monitoring the cafeteria, I overheard one of the students explaining at the table that Ms. Pasemann used to own the school, but she sold it to Ms. Patchke. So that's how you know you've been somewhere a long time. This evening, I know you're going to hear all of the wonderful accomplishments of Ms. Pasemann, but during my time tonight to speak, I would like to share with you what Ms. Pasemann means to me. I would like to also add that I'm so thankful that she's here tonight to hear all these wonderful accolades in memory, because it was rumored that tonight was a memorial service. And if you know Naomi, you know she delights at every chance to tell us that she is still alive. Throughout my career, Ms. Pasemann has been a constant encourager and supporter. As a new principal, she would often stop in to offer her sage advice or just lend a listening ear. I could always count on her support. She would always start off with say, well, I'm just going to tell you like it is. Sometimes it wasn't what I exactly wanted to hear, but it was the truth and it's what I needed to hear. She was always so supportive, and we could count on her support when we were implementing new ideas and processes, such as when we started the Leader in Me. At most events we hosted, she was always present with a smiling face, except for the one time when we lost Mr. Bobby Bosman. His tour guide, they were on the campus giving a tour, and he disappeared. And actually, a side note, he slipped out the side door, but my third grade tour guide who was leading the tour was so distraught because we lost Mr. Bobby Bosman. But we found him, and so it was all good. Ms. Bosman also has served as a role model to me by always giving to others and her continued involvement in causes that are important to her. She is passionate about our school. She is passionate about Taylor ISD. She is passionate about her church, and she's passionate about the community of Taylor. In my time here at Bosman, I wanted to create a culture that reflected the values that Ms. Bosman displays. The Leader in Me was a perfect fit. The Leader in Me focuses on the 7 habits of happy kids, setting goals, and contributing to your community. We worked diligently on highlighting that idea that all of the students had special talents and they were all worthy to be a pride of Bosman. Ms. Pasemann embraced and fully supported our Leader in Me journey by speaking to our staff, being present when we hosted educators from several states on our campus, but most of all, by living her life exemplifying the 7 habits. Ms. Pasemann's life exemplifies the quote that Dr. Stephen Covey says, to live, to love, to learn, and to leave a legacy. So in closing, I would like to thank Ms. Pasemann for being my cheerleader, my counselor, my champion, and my community builder. Her willingness to live life to its fullest, to love others with her whole heart, and constantly learn is a legacy that I certainly hope that I can follow. I love and respect you with all of my heart, Mama Duck. I hope you enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Ms. Patchke. And if we could dim the lights, we're going to enjoy the Naomi Pasemann Story now. And this is an abbreviated version of what will be on YouTube. And we hope you enjoy the show. I know I enjoyed getting to interview Mrs. Pasemann.
such a special person. For me, Naomi was a sophomore English teacher. She was my Future Teachers of America sponsor. She was a co-worker with me when I started in education, and she became my mentor in the counseling world. Naomi has impacted the lives of so many students for so many years. She's been a vital part of the Taylor Students Association. She continues to be our once a duck, always a duck motto person at homecoming each year. She continues to inspire us to be the best that we can be. Now standing here in front of Naomi Pasemann Elementary, Naomi is continuing, even though she's retired, to be a part of the lives of students in Taylor ISD. She takes part in the celebrations here. She takes part in the activities that are molding our students to be the best that they can be. Naomi has always been an advocate for education and continues to do just that. She is a giver of her time. She gives her energy.
Sad, but then you think about the memories that you made, and you think, we had a good time.
I remember hearing about a prank that some of y'all pulled on David Cruz.
Oh, yes. David was over, I guess he was practicing the principal or something, and so we put Resuscian, who was the
CPR dummy.
Yeah, the CPR dummy, and so we put her in a restroom somewhere, and told me, no, nobody's in there, open the door. Except the day that you called me and you said, Naomi, you just can't believe what Congress Funeral Home is donating. And I thought,
I remember that day.
I know you remember. And I remember you said, they're donating a vault. And I said,
A burial vault.
a burial vault. And I said, well, I tell you one thing, I am not getting in it, but I think I did.
You did. Now, that's one of my favorite stories from opening this school was that day that I called you. And if I remember correctly, when I said, hey, Naomi, they're donating a burial vault to the school, there was dead silence.
Yeah.
And I still remember your word, just as you said, I am not getting in.
But it was fun.
It was fun. And
At this time, I'd like to introduce the Bosman principal, Renee Duckworth, and Bosman is going to have a special presentation at this time.
Can you guys turn up the lights for us? Turn on the lights. Oh, it takes a while. Okay. Hi, for those of you that don't know me, I am Renee Duckworth, the principal here, and yes, I have the perfect name for joining Taylor ISD. I definitely embrace the once a duck, always a duck. Love it. All right, my first encounter after being named principal of Bosman Elementary was with Mr. Tim Crow. It did not take me long to understand what a special place I was coming to when I was joining the family of Bosman Elementary. One word that comes to mind is the word inspire. And the definition of inspire is to encourage somebody to greater effort, enthusiasm, or creativity, or to awaken a particular feeling in somebody. It means to breathe life into. That's the Latin meaning. I think of no other word that can describe Miss Bosman any more than that. Very special lady. So, Mama Duck, you have breathed life into so many ducks that we want to honor you tonight. We have a couple of people here that are going to help me with that, but first, I'm going to tell y'all when we talk about the support and encouragement from Ms. Bosman for the staff, I had my first experience. She brings gifts in December for the teachers. Some of y'all are nodding because you know what happens. It was my first time. After school, we draw names. And the crowd goes wild. She brings these gifts, and I didn't know, I was new. I said, okay, we're calling names, we're all excited. The teachers run to the office as you call the names because they are so excited. The things she does for our staff, the things she does for our kids. I mean, it is truly amazing to see what she does for us here as a faculty. And so we all wore our Pasemann gear, and we wore Pasemann through the years. So this was my only year shirt. But we do have some different shirts being represented because we are very proud to wear your name on our shirts. And so we do that. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve this community and to serve this school. And so we have a couple of things. I have 2 faculty members here. You ready? Okay. They have been here since year 1. Miss Stephanie Waffle and Miss Susan Mark, please come. We have taken all the shirts, or several shirts through the years, and have made you a quilt that we would like to present you with. Our second is,
It's not easy to get up. But I'm not dead.
you are, it's perfect.
Those are all these shirts. Wonderful. Oh my goodness, you don't know that I've been saving mine.
Oh, now you have a collection of them. All right, our second presentation, we have been doing our own little fundraiser for the Bosman pennies. And you are right, every 100 starts with a penny. My student helpers come up, and we're going to present you with the check. Thank you for the donations. This is from our kids, our parents, our faculty. We raised $1,002.88 for the Bosman scholarships. I saw a lot of cameras trying to get pictures of the crowd. Okay, thank you guys. You will head back over there to Miss Waffle. All right, Miss Bosman, we cannot say enough just how much we appreciate everything you do for this school. It is with pride and honor that we serve this community here at Bosman. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blackwood and Bosman Elementary. 2 wonderful presentations. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time now to hear from Mama Duck herself. This is Naomi Pasemann.
The first thing sit down. Yes, I am still alive. I want you to know. This thing is temporary, but I'm using it because they said use it. So, I'm not proud. I'm just happy to be here. In the interview, mentioned 4 things that I feel I have always tried to live by. And those are love, laugh, live, and learn. And I see a lot of love in this room tonight. I look around, I see people from my church, I see people from my past, I see people from my present, I see my future in my beautiful great-granddaughter, Miss Jordan Avery Runyon, who was born December 13th. In the video, which was done about a year ago, well, we were thinking that our grandchildren would never have anything but dogs. We have lots of dogs in our family. In fact, we can all tell dog stories, but we do have a great granddaughter, and that's wonderful. So, and there is so much love. There is love in this room. There is love at Bosman Elementary. I think that the faculty really cares about your children. I think it's a wonderful faculty. And also mentioned laugh. Boy, if you don't laugh, you don't survive in this world. I mean, everywhere you look, you find things that are distressing. You don't even want to watch the news anymore. So all I can say to each of you is go find you a laugh partner and depend on that person. Some of my laugh partners are in this room, and you know who you are, and we know that we can, get together and have a really good time. I think it is important also that we always continue to live. I think that's right, what was said. I mean, you only go through life once, and so make the most of it. Live every day, live to your fullest. Always do the best that you can in everything that you can. And last of all, learn. I really believe that we need to learn from the day we are born till the day we die. And I'm not dead yet, so I'm still learning. That's it. Thank you. I cannot say enough about Tim. Tim, I don't even know where you got some of that stuff from, but I remember doing the video portion of it, but where he came up with like the video from the day that the time capsule was buried, that's just absolutely amazing, and he is amazing. And I have to tell you a little story about Miss Duckworth. When she was hired, somebody said on Facebook, well, was she hired because of her name? And a school board member came back and said, no, she was hired because she was worthy. And so we are very fortunate to have Pat and Jennifer, you know how much I care for both of you. Probably one of the smartest things I did was to turn the Ex-Student Association over to Pat Hilbert. She is doing an excellent job. She truly loves it. If you think I'm a duck through and through, you just don't know what Pat Hilbert is like, because she does an amazing job. And Jennifer, you know how I feel about you too. So anyway, it's been good, and it's going to get better. Okay?
Before we wrap things up and head to the cafeteria for refreshments and time to visit with Naomi, I mentioned earlier, right before we started, that a very special day is coming up Saturday for Naomi. It is her birthday. So before we leave, we're going to sing happy birthday. If y'all would all please join in. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Naomi. Happy birthday to you. So if you would give Naomi just a few moments to kind of get a head start, we have her set up on the stage, and she'll be, I know she'll be happy for you to come by and talk to her and visit and catch up. So we'll give her a few minutes to get a head start, and then we'll all go in there and enjoy some refreshments, enjoy some time together, and visit with Naomi. Thank you all so much again for being here tonight.
All your ducklings came to see you.
Oh, it's fine, fine.
I didn't think you were shooting, that's all.
Mr. Crow hasn't told me I could stop yet.
How you
So,
doing?
hi there. So
You
it's.
ready to hit it?
I told Barbara she's welcome to go.
Did you go see